If I told you that happiness is a choice, would you actually believe me? I know it sounds so simple, but it's true. And today that's what I'm going to be diving into. I'm going to be talking about why happiness is a choice, and more importantly, how you can start making that choice for yourself every day. Welcome back to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. I'm Sanj and I'm your host, and I'm excited to have you here today. If you're tuning in, I know you're someone who is ready to start making real and lasting changes to your mindset, and today's topic is going to hit home for so many of you. So as always, before we jump in, here's a quote. And Oprah Winfrey, she once said, "The happiness you feel is in direct proportion to the love you give." Powerful, am I right? This is all about taking control of your own happiness, and instead of waiting for it to come from outside, you actually start having it from within. It starts to come from you. It starts to come from your heart, and you start giving out happiness. You start looking for happiness rather than waiting for external circumstances to determine your happiness. So I'm going to be talking about all the different ways about why you need to believe that you need material things to be happy, why happiness is a choice, and why you can choose to be happy whenever you want. And as always, I'm going to be giving you some simple ways which you can choose happiness today. So if you're ready to take charge of your happiness and stop waiting around for the perfect circumstances, then this episode is for you. So we struggle to realize that happiness is a choice just because we find it difficult, and it is hard for us to realize that actually happiness is something we can choose. Most of us, myself included, are fallen into the trap of thinking that happiness is something we'll get when we hit a certain target, when your circumstances change, when you get that promotion, or when you lose that weight, or when you have more money in the bank. You think of happiness as only being something that you will get after certain conditions have been fulfilled. But that's not how happiness works. That's not how your life is going to work. You're linking your happiness to external events. So when things aren't going the way you want, the way you planned, you're assuming that your happiness is out of reach. Happiness doesn't happen to you. You choose happiness. So only 10% of your long-term happiness is based on your external circumstances, like your money, your job status, your possessions. The other 90% comes from your mindset and how you're handling life's journey. So you're sitting there waiting for things outside yourself to change before you allow yourself to be happy. And so does that mean for 90% of your life you're going to end up being unhappy because it's only that 10% of your long-term happiness which is based on external circumstances? And even then, if you're not actually happy with your external circumstances, 10% of your life which you're basing on external circumstances will be lower. So why do you still wait for things outside yourself to change before you allow yourself to be happy? The reason is because our brains are wired to look for safety and certainty. And what you're currently doing is you're making that safety and certainty. You're making that and you're linking that with certain criteria being met before you allow yourself to feel safe, before you allow yourself to feel certainty. So you've been conditioned to think that if X happens, you'll be secure. Then you can be happy. Or when Y happens, there'll be certainty in my life. Then I can be happy. But happiness is not the reward at the end of the finish line. It's a choice that you can actually make right now. And one of the biggest mistakes that you're making is believing that you need material items to be happy. There's a lot of rubbish going out, and we've all been guilty of it at some point, that we need material things to improve our happiness, to improve our lives, to increase our happiness. But let's be honest, how many times have you said, if I just had that new phone, those new shoes, that car, whatever, I was going on that holiday, then I'd be happy? And when you've done that, when you've come back from that holiday, when you've had that car for 6 months, when you've had those shoes for a month, does it still bring you the same level of happiness? It doesn't. This belief is everywhere. We live in a world that bombards us with messages about how the next shiny thing in our world will make us feel complete. It will bring us happiness. You are exposed to so many ads every single day. Some of them subtle, some of them you don't even realize you're being exposed to, but all of them are subtly telling you that you're not good enough, but their product will fix it. And the truth is that actually material things, they only give you temporary pleasure. That's not lasting happiness. It's like a sugar rush. When you get that brief high from the new gadget you've got or that new outfit, when you've worn it a third or fourth time, that excitement fades. You don't sit there putting it on every single time and think, oh yeah, this is amazing. And you don't have that same excitement after you've had it a while. When you prioritize your experiences over possessions, you're actually going to find yourself that you have higher levels of happiness and dissatisfaction with your life. Because when you're building memories through experiences, through connections and emotional richness that possessions can't, what you're doing is you're actually building a life. You're building a story for yourself, something that you can take with you at all times. So it's time to stop chasing those things and start to chase the kind of happiness that comes from within you. You're not going to remember your, say, third phone that you ever had. You're probably not even going to care that you had that phone. Again, with cars, yeah, it's nice to drive a nice car, but how many times have you said, when I get this car, it's going to be amazing? Then say after 6 months of driving that car, it's just an average feeling. It's just another day. So then your happiness diminishes. But happiness is a choice, and you can choose to be happy whenever you want. You can choose to be happy at any moment, no matter what is happening around you. And I know you could be thinking, I just can't choose to be happy when I'm stressed. I can't choose to be happy when I'm overwhelmed or when I'm going through something tough. And I understand that. But here's the key. When you're choosing happiness, it doesn't mean you're ignoring your problems. You're not pretending everything's perfect. What it actually means is, if you're choosing happiness, it means that you're choosing what to focus on. And what you're focusing on at that time is good, what's possible, and most importantly, what's within your control. Because if something's not within your control, then what is a point in worrying about, in getting sick over it, stressing yourself over it? Think of it like this. If two people are stuck in traffic, one person is fuming, honking the horn, getting more and more irritated by the minute. Is that you? Are you the person getting annoyed because you're stuck in traffic? The other person is sitting there. They're listening to their favourite podcast, hopefully this one. They're feeling calmer. They're using that time to just relax. The situation is exactly the same, but their experiences of it are totally different because of the choices they make. One of them chose to allow that anger, that frustration take control. The other one realizes they cannot control the situation, so they're just doing what they can control. They're taking into account what they can control, and that's what they're controlling. When you're happier, you tend to be more productive and have better health and even live longer. Because when you're doing that, you're less stressed. You feel good. You can actually focus. Because when you're frustrated, when your emotion is high, your logic is low. So when you're choosing happiness, it isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It actually has tangible benefits for your entire life. You can decide to look for the positives, focus on gratitude, and see life's challenges as new opportunities for you, rather than obstacles in your way. The choice for you is always there. So if you want to start choosing happiness today, if you want to actually change your life, forget all this negativity, this stress. Start to focus on the positive. The first thing you can do is Practice gratitude every single day. This one is absolutely huge. It's probably one of the best things that I do every single day. And that is, I practice gratitude because it increases your happiness. All I do is actually write 3 things down, or I just think about 3 things for which I'm grateful for every single day. And by doing that, you're focusing rather than focusing on what you're lacking in your life, you're focusing on what is abundant in your life. The second thing is stop comparing yourself to others. If you have this issue, turn off social media, delete it from your phone. Comparison is a thief of joy. We live in a world where it's so easy to look at someone else's highlight reel via Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and etc. You end up feeling like you're falling behind. But the moment you stop comparing yourself to other people and you're just like, yeah, good for them. They're on their journey, I'm on mine. The moment you start appreciating your own journey, that's when your happiness will start to actually increase. The next thing is focus on what you can control. Life will constantly throw curveballs, but how you respond is always within your control. So instead of stressing over things that you can't change, put your energy into the things you can. When you focus on what is within your power, you start to feel more capable and more in control, and you will end up feeling happier. Surround yourself with positive people, because at the end of the day, if you have people who lift you up, make you laugh and encourage you to be the best, you're actually going to find yourself in such a great position because you've got the right people in your life. Having strong positive relationships are one of the biggest predictors of long-term happiness. And the final one, I love this one. I try and do it daily. That's laugh more. It sounds so simple, but laughter really is medicine for your soul. Laughter releases endorphins, our body's feel-good hormone. So when you actually have that spare 5-10 minutes, find moments of joy, find moments of humour in your daily life. Whether it's watching a funny show, stand-up comedy, chatting with a friend who makes you laugh, or just even being a bit silly. Yeah, go for it. If you start incorporating these tips into your routine, I promise you will start to notice a shift in your mindset and your happiness. Let me know what ones you're going to implement. They're 5 and they literally can take a few minutes each day. Minimum time, maximum impact. Yeah, so I hope you get from this episode that it's clear that happiness is not something you wait for, it's something you choose. Every day, every moment, you have the power to decide where you want to focus your attention and how you react to life's challenges. So ask yourself, if happiness is a choice, what's stopping you from choosing it right now? Don't wait for your circumstances to line up perfectly. Choose happiness today. Implement the tips I talked about. And see, the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. And if you find this helpful, be sure to share it with someone who could use a little boost in happiness within their day. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. So until next time, remember, you're in charge of your happiness. Choose it every day and watch your life transform. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a review. It really helps the podcast grow, which I would really appreciate. You can also follow me on Instagram at just.live.coaching for more mindset tips and tricks. Take care of yourself, and remember, you have the power to master your mindset, and when you do, you'll master your life. Thank you, and see you next time.